also trying not to repeat myself too much, but I don't want to keep you any longer. So let me give you all the bad news first. Okay. You've seen the newsletters that I've sent out recently. We have lost everything. This year has been the worst year I've ever experienced out of the 11 years we've been doing this. We've lost, well, for AMI, we have lost 60% of our members. And that's a huge chunk. That's roughly close to, just shy of 200 renewals that we would have normally gotten and stuff, which would have taken care of all the storage units and stuff. Unfortunately, nothing. So we lost all those tents that we had for the Lone Star Festival. So they're going to all have to be replaced. We're scheduled still for the May event. The city's putting together the package. It'll cost us $2,000 in city fees. Plus, then we'll have to rent the proper equipment, which will be anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 in rental fees, unless we purchase it and get it all replaced. Which is, in one respect, I would prefer to do that because it's a lot cheaper in the long run to own those tents versus renting them every single time. But yeah, plus we lost the history. We've lost $40,000 worth of books that we have been donated over the years and stuff from the authors and stuff like that. Of course, all of our paper trail history, we lost all of that and stuff. So luckily, the hard drive I have for TAIH, so we have all that history still with us, but otherwise everything else is gone. So from all practical purposes, we're almost starting off from scratch. We still have the website, we still have all that information, so we haven't lost that. But keeping the website up and running is a challenge. With that in mind, because that is definitely a lot more than you probably expected. You have the option, of course, to say, you know what, that's just way too much for me and I'd rather back out. Because it's going to be a challenge for the next 6 months to get it all together and find the money from sponsors and other sources to get Lone Star done and to get us back on track with whatever we need to do and stuff. So in a nutshell, that's where we're at.
Okay. So in the short term for Lone Star, what are you opposed to asking anyone who is going to be there selling to bring their own tents and tables and chairs?
No, I'm not opposed to that. Considering the situation right now, definitely not. And then applying them, giving them a credit of some sort that they can use towards the next event or whatever.
I don't think you even, I don't think you even need to do that because honestly, the average book event tables are anywhere from $100 to $200 on average. I mean, the city of Seguin charges $45 a booth for their event, and you bring all of your own stuff. They don't provide anything except the spot. So, if you're wanting to make it a little bit closer to that amount because of that, that's understandable. But book events, I've been doing mostly indoor ones. So, yeah, I'm paying anywhere from $100 to $200 per event for a full 8-foot table.
Right.
And that just includes basically the air conditioning and, electricity because we're inside of a building. But I don't think $75 a booth is unreasonable for a book event. So obviously.
Normally, if we were collecting new fees, I would say, yeah, you're absolutely right. But because we canceled last year, all of those people are being carried over to this year, so we're not getting any new fees.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely have no problem asking people to bring their tents. Definitely not, especially this year. That will help in replacing some of the stuff. I would rather go and try to get $3,000 to $5,000 in sponsorships to buy the new tents, to replace those things that we need, because we do need the tents, the tables, the chairs, versus, trying to rent it for $5,000 and stuff. I mean, it'd be a lot cheaper in that respect. Excuse me. But yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to be getting a whole lot of new fees coming in for this coming event because it's a carryover and stuff. So getting the sponsors is going to be the most important thing for us and stuff. Before I continue on, hello, Mr. Gutierrez, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Let me put you on there. We just
Sorry, I'm a little
started.
late.
That's all right. We just started, and I started off with the bad news. I'll recap that in a couple minutes. I'm still hoping for 2 more people to be coming on shortly. But in the meantime, Missy is on the road and she's pulled over for this. So what I'd like to do at this point is allow Missy to go ahead and introduce herself and to let her explain why she was wanting to be on the board of directors.
Okay, I'm author Missy Jane. I also go by MJ Aragon on Facebook. And so I'm interested in participating and whether that's be on the board or even just volunteering to help because this is a group for Texas authors. And I'm just really interested in keeping the group going, especially seeing the struggles that have come up because of the pandemic. So anything that I can do to help, I'm more than happy to do. I have a lot of experience over the past 12 years attending book events, both as an author and as a reader, mostly romance genre, but I have a lot of experience with trade shows and volunteerism. I volunteer in Houston a lot. So I'm already well-versed in events and groups of various types and getting that kind of stuff done. So that's why I've put my name in the hat, just because I do have some experience with that, and I do have some time now that I work from home. So I'm happy to help just wherever I'm needed.
Appreciate that. And real quickly, just to touch base, I'll let you introduce yourself in a moment, Mr. Gutierrez. With the revamping of AMI into the Author School of Business, I believe our subscription service, which starts at $12.95 and $24.95 and $34.95, the 3 different levels, I believe that will be a financial aspect to get us back on track a lot easier and a lot smoother, because people can choose how long they want to be a member. And if they choose to be a year, then their membership renewal, as you guys have experienced, is only $50, no big deal cost wise. But the $12.95 aspect gets them into a lot of things. And I mean, $13 a month is cheap and people can easily afford that. So if we can get, easily 100 people, or to make up the memberships we've lost the last 2 years, if we can get back up to 300 members, 200 of them paying $12.95 a month, that's huge. And that gets us back on track to be able to fund the Texas Authors events and stuff like that, the Lone Star event as an example and stuff. So there is going to be some overlap as far as the board members from TAIH helping get people to join the author school so that we have that money coming in, or to help us find sponsors and stuff like that. So I just want to touch base on that for a moment. So Mr. Gutierrez, if you would like to introduce yourself and explain why you would like to be on the board.
Sure. So my name is Isai Gutierrez. I live in Houston, Texas. I'm an educator by profession. A couple of years ago, I self-published my first children's book. And again, as an educator, I figured, I have ties with education, and I'll go into the schools and everything will be fine. And then the pandemic hit just as my book came out, and that kind of quashed that whole thing. So it's taken me a lot longer to kind of get off the ground and get moving and doing what I wanted to do. But again, I was home for a long time, and it gave me the opportunity to kind of look around. I technically started my own publishing company, just to kind of help other people kind of work their way through some of the, the problems that self-publishing has. And I've been doing a lot of learning, but not enough, I don't feel like, in terms of what's out there and what you can and can't do, and some of those things. And one of the reasons I want to be on the board is because, Alan, I think that you have developed a lot of kind of quality ideas, and I realize that you've taken a big hit, and this whole organization's taken a big hit, and it quite honestly just makes me sad because I think a lot of the things that have taken a hit are things that are needed. I wish that I would have been part of this earlier on. And I think there's a lot of people, I see on Facebook and I a lot of the social media, people who are dying for the information, and you had developed a lot of it. And the fact that it's dying on the vine, it worries me. It doesn't worry me. Well, maybe it does worry me. It shouldn't be that way. Let me put it that way. It just should not. I mean, I know that there's enough people, even with a pandemic, that are out there and they're monetizing some of the things that you're doing, and they're doing really great. And they don't have the quality of things that I think you had. And again, I haven't looked in depth at what you have. I don't know what your membership was at Peak. I don't know what your mailing list is like, or any of those kind of things. But certainly, I'm on the board for the New England independent publishers. Don't ask me how I got on the board for New England publishers, but there I sit. And I thought, well, we're Texas, man. We're Texas. Why is it that I have to go to New England to get that kind of organization? I should not have to. And that's kind of why I'm here. That's kind of why I'm interested, and why I would like to be more involved, because I think there's too many quality efforts to die on the vine here with what you've done.
I appreciate that. And if I'm correct, isn't the New England Publishers Group getting ready to do a conference here shortly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And they just did a book competition, the judging, I don't know what it's called. But I was part of that. So they mailed all their books to me. I had them here in my office, stacks and stacks of books. I mailed them all over the country, in fact, the world, to the judges to be judged. And so, yeah, it was pretty interesting. And they are getting ready to have a conference. And so that, again, they're up north, and they have a pretty good following, but yeah, we're Texas.
Yeah, we've talked, and we've actually worked with them on a couple other projects over the years, a while back, well over 5 years ago, I think. But I'm still on their email list, and I got the conference information to share. And I've also submitted to them a proposal to do an NFT class at their event next year and stuff. So we'll see what happens for that.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go ahead and get off now, but it was good seeing you and nice meeting you, and I will touch base with you later.
Okay, and we'll have a meeting probably middle of January, but I'll send out the notices to you and all that. Thank you very much for stopping and chatting with us. We'll talk to you soon.
Good night.
Night. All right, easy. So one of the things I was talking to her about prior to you coming on was our condition. As you've seen probably in the newsletters, we lost everything this year. We had 3 separate storage units full of valuable information, and we've lost them all because we've lost 60% of our members from AMI. It started with COVID, just dropping off, and now inflation, and it's just been a mess. So it's been a really super hard struggle to get everything still alive and kicking and going and stuff.
When you say lost it, what, like?
We couldn't pay on the storage fees, and so they were confiscated and sold at auction.
When everything's been sold at auction already?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first one was in August, the second one was in September, and then the last one, which also had all my personal belongings in it as well, went on the 2nd of November. So no matter how much I tried to stop that from happening, funds just did not come in to allow it. And you've seen the letters requesting donations and stuff like that, but like I said, it was just not enough. And we continue to lose members. And there's now rumors going out in the public, through authors saying that we have shut down, that we are not operating. So that's not helping the situation. You also should be aware that we have revamped our program from Authors Marketing International to the Authors School of Business. We are the business end of being an author, helping people from pre-publishing all the way through the sales aspect, so that they can learn everything. I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at the new website and see how easy it is to access everything. I sent out I'll be sending out an email on Tuesday announcing that I'll be moving all the memberships over to that site. So you'll be able to log in and see what you can see currently as a non-member, as a non-member. But the rates start at $12.95 a month, go up to $34.95 a month, or they can pay annually or whatever. So as we were talking, getting 200 members back into the system out of the roughly 1,800 emails that I have of authors, that would bring us back to where we need to be financially and to continue doing the events that we need to do. We have our Lone Star Festival coming up in May. The city's getting the cost figures to us. They've increased prices the first of the year, so they'll have the new figures for us. But we're going to have to replace all those tents that we had. We still need to buy tables. We still need to buy chairs. So we're looking at a lot of money. And as far as rental, it would be anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 for the weekend, which if we spent that much money on purchasing items, we wouldn't have to spend it next year, and stuff. So those are things that we will address in January in more detail and stuff. But I wanted you to be aware of that ahead of time. So before we have the official election, which is basically, since I'm the only voting member, I would approve everybody who still wants to be involved. So this is your opportunity to back out, considering the negative aspect and the challenges ahead of us, or to stay involved and say, you know what, this is something I want to sink my teeth into and help get the organization back to where it needs to be and stuff. All right.
Now, you were asking for money to be on the board. Is that still the deal?
That was for the Authors School of Business.
Okay.
Okay. For Texas Authors Institute of History, we are a nonprofit. We are 501c3. So no, there's no money needed for that. That
Okay,
is
so that's the Texas Authors
Institute of
official
History.
name again?
Texas Authors Institute of History.
Okay.
That's our museum nonprofit organization.
You lost all the books in the museum.
Yep. $40,000 worth. So.
And they were all sold off at auction.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the unit was sold for $100.
And we didn't have $100 to pay for it.
I'm legally not allowed to bid. So I was not permitted to bid because I was on the lease. So yeah.
I
So,
wish I could have bid.
well, I mean, yeah, it's extremely frustrating to say the least. This has been
No, I can imagine your frustration.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So
now, can I ask another question?
Sure.
This might be a little bit personal, but this was your only source of income?
It still is until January. I turned 62 this month in a couple of weeks, and I've already filed for early retirement with SSA so that I have some kind of money coming in, but that doesn't kick in until January.
Okay. Okay.
But yes.
So that's a personal struggle as well.
Oh, big time.
Personal financial struggle.
Yeah. So yeah, no matter what job I applied for, whether it be McDonald's, Walmart, Kroger's, HEB, nobody was hiring me. I don't know why, but nobody was hiring me. So the universe, God has some reason for me to go through this year, and I'm still trying to figure it out.
Well, hang in there.
I'm trying. We just have a few minutes left before the video cuts out. The others did not make it, unfortunately. But this has been recorded, so I will send out a link to everybody so that they can go back and rewatch it. I know one person, Becky, excuse me, she was unable to come tonight because her grandson, I believe it was, turned 18, and they had a big party already planned for him, and there's no way she could miss that. So I fully
So
understand that.
what are you wanting out of the board members? Like, what is this going to look like if we're on the board?
Well, yeah, guidance, that's number one.
Okay.
As programs and events and opportunities come up, guidance is the most important thing. Make sure that what I'm doing is in the right track, making us move in the right direction. Helping to spread the word that this organization is alive and kicking. Texas Authors, we are a museum. We still have that website. We still have all that history up on the website. So out of 77,000 Texas authors, we only had like 3,000 listed in our website. So we have a
Okay.
lot of people that need to get listed, a lot of people to learn not only of TAIH, but of the Author School of Business so that they can sign up and help use some of that money to help finance what we're doing with TAIH. The bookstore.
Okay, so there,
promotion.
where are you getting the 77,000 authors in Texas?
So over the years of surveys that we've done, we've come to an analytical figure of 0.00236 is a population number.
Mhm.
Multiply that out by the roughly 32 million Texans, and that's what you get on the
Okay.
77,000.
Okay.
But even so, out of the 3,000 that are on my list that I'm aware of, I know there's tons more out there that I'm not aware of. So
Yeah.
even if you only double that, that's still a lot of people.
So is your mailing list 3,000, the 3,000 authors? Or do you have a mailing list beyond those authors?
No, the 3,000 author email list that I have.
Okay. But you haven't been able to acquire an email list beyond that?
Not for authors, no.
Okay.
Librarians, yes. Every year I get that opportunity to purchase that list, and I try to when I have the money to update that list. And that's
How much
about
does that normally
3,000
cost?
That one I think right now is around about $250 to $300 range.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I've definitely bought that a couple times over the years after the Texas Library Conference so that I can update my list and stuff like that. So
Okay. I would love to take this on because again, I'm not in your shoes. I have no idea how, I know COVID kicked everyone in the teeth. But this is a jewel. Like this should be a money maker. There should be a way to monetize all of this still, even through COVID and certainly after COVID. And so, yeah, I'd like to help do that. I'd like to help build this.
yeah, I mean, for Texas authors, it was all about doing events and having our word out there and stuff and building our museum. That's the whole objective and stuff. Unfortunately, not being out in public for 2 years for the most part really hurt us.
Yeah.
And then when we lost 60% of the membership, that, those annual dues, you're looking at $30,000 worth of income that we lost.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, that we were already tight, but
Right.
that just killed me. So
yeah.
But anyways.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, if you'll have me, I would love to help out
Okay,
and
cool.
help build this back.
All right. I will, like I said, schedule a meeting in January to make it the official beginning of the board for the new board and stuff like that. I just want to make sure everybody was up to date on what has been going on, where we're at, and the challenges that do lie ahead. All right.
So are you able to make it to January?
It's a good question for me. My concern is my car payment. So we're working through that. I'm not too far off from that. So we're just getting through that. So
Okay,
um,
with this author university, what is it called again? The
Authors
business,
School of Business.
with the author school of business, will we have access to help with that as well, or no?
There is going to be some overlap. Yeah. You won't necessarily be on the board for that, as that is a separate organization. But yeah, there will be some overlap on, hey, help with this organization. So the money that we raise from there, like our membership dues and stuff, can help pay for.
Well, I'd like to help you build that as well. I don't know that I have any money that I would be willing to sink in on it right now, but I would be willing to help you try and build that business as well in any way we can.
Okay, so for that, I will add you to the board meeting. That's next Wednesday. It's our
Okay.
first board meeting. Same situation, getting everybody up to speed, and I'll send you the link to the books or to the website so that you can get in there and check it out. I'll add you in as a member so that you can log in officially as a member and see everything we do, the whole kit and caboodle and stuff. All right.
That sounds perfect.
All right. I'll email that to you tomorrow then.
All right.
But otherwise, I'll let you go. Thank you very much for being on here. And like I said, I've recorded this. You'll get an email with the link. So if you want to go back and see anything or refresh yourself, you can. Okay.
Sounds good. Hang in there, my friend.
Thank you, sir. I'll talk to you
All right.
soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.